Hi, I'm Chris Mullinex, President, CRM Properties. I'm going to take a couple minutes to talk about how we attract the very best residents to rent a property. So this is extremely important. From the owner of the property standpoint, you want to get the best possible people in the property you can. It's not as simple as just saying, hey, let me hire a property management company and that's all I need to do to get the best people. That plays a role, but that's not all there is to it. Now, why do you want to get the best people? I hope you know this already. But obviously the best renters are going to be the ones that stay longest, they take good care of your property, and they pay rent consistently. So that's who we want to put in the property. So there's a number of things that need to happen in order to attract the people to your property. Number one, the best way to get people in the property, the best residents, is to have the right area. That's obvious. You can't change the area. You're in a great area. You already got something working your way. You're not in as good of an area, then you have to take some other strategies in order to attract those great people. The next thing that you've got to do is make sure your price is right. Obviously, we want to try to get as much rent as possible, but sometimes getting the highest dollar isn't always the best strategy. If you have it too high, then people may move out more often, leading to more turnover, higher turnover costs. So you want to make sure you're not overpriced, not underpriced, you're priced fairly. The next thing that you want to pay attention to is condition, and this all starts outside. Doesn't matter what the inside's like if the outside's a wreck. The good residents are going to look at the outside and say, I'm not even going to go inside and look. So from the curb, you've got to make sure the property looks like it's being cared for. It's well maintained. If it doesn't look like you're not taking care of it, nobody's going to want to go inside, or at least the best residents of all are going to choose not to go inside and take a look. So got to make sure it looks clean, safe, well cared for outside. That means things like the landscaping's in good shape, the yard's cut, there's not trash everywhere, things aren't falling apart on the outside. Next, now people are going inside, and the condition inside's got to be in good shape as well. Especially when you get into maybe the C-class neighborhoods, you've got to really pay attention to making sure that everything's in the best shape possible. For instance, it's got to be clean. It's got to be safe. Everything's got to function. The door's got to open and close right. The window's got to open and close right. I'm not necessarily saying it's got to be completely remodeled, but clean, safe, habitable. So after that's done, the next thing that you should pay attention to are going to be amenities. Now here again, we don't always have to have a brand new kitchen and a brand new bathroom. Certain areas, that may be the expectation. Other areas, especially your C-class neighborhoods, those may not be the expectations, but they certainly can help. So if it's updated, if it's got things that maybe aren't always expected in that type of neighborhood, that's going to help tremendously. Things like central air conditioning, forced air heat instead of baseboard heats, newer kitchens, newer bathrooms, those will help with getting the very best people to the property. Another item that's important to consider is if you're not putting the best residents into your property, you're potentially having more turnover. And with these kind of properties, every time the property turns over, you typically have some repair costs, you have loss of rent, you have utility bills, maybe lawn care bills. It's expensive. The most expensive thing that will happen to your property is turnover. Great residents don't leave as often and therefore reduce your turnover costs. One more thing to consider when trying to attract the best residents to your property, think about the energy efficiency items. So if you're in those C-class neighborhoods and below where the residents are maybe more price sensitive, you certainly don't want to have affordable rent, but then high utility costs. So pay attention to things like energy efficient windows, proper insulation in the property, things that will keep the residents' utility bills reasonable. Now, the last thing to keep in mind when trying to attract the best people to rent your property, the landlord. Whether you're self-managing or using a property management company, you want to make sure you've got somebody who the residents believe in, somebody that the residents think are going to help them, they're going to take care of them, they're going to service the property, they're going to make their rental experience great. Now, I'm not suggesting a landlord or a self-managing owner give things away and let residents get away with things. That's not what I'm suggesting, but I am suggesting that if the resident knows this particular management company or this particular owner is going to care for the property, care for their needs, then they're going to be more likely to rent from that owner. If you've got any questions about property management or how to attract the best residents to your property, don't hesitate to reach out.